The music fades up, and the screen opens on a legend. Samuel L. Jackson sitting back in a chair, relaxed, sharp, and full of that smooth confidence that has defined every era he's lived through. He's not here to lecture. He's here to tell stories the way only he can, like he's pulling the audience into his world one story at a time. His smile and voice make it feel less like an interview and more like sitting beside him on a quiet night, listening as the city glows outside the window. He begins reminiscing about the early days of music and acting, always surrounded by talent that was burning its way into history. He remembers artists who carried both poetry and fire in their voices, artists whose work didn't just play on the radio, it shaped entire chapters of American culture. He talks about hearing early tracks from rising stars before the world knew their names, how the energy in the studio or rehearsal space felt electric, like everyone in the room knew something unforgettable was being born. He recalls bumping into young musicians who were still discovering their voices, and even then, he could sense the intensity in their ambitions. They didn't just want to perform, they wanted to reshape the stage entirely, to speak for their generation, to bring their corner of the world into the spotlight. Samuel tells these stories with a sense of pride, not because he takes credit for their journeys, but because he had a front-row seat to greatness in motion. His admiration carries a kind of romance, respect layered with nostalgia, like remembering the first time you heard a song that changed your life. He shifts to a more modern era, talking about the lyricists of today who are building their own legacies. Samuel, with his commanding presence, explains that even though times have changed, the heart of artistic storytelling hasn't. It's still about honesty, risk, vulnerability, and the courage to stand in front of the world and say, "This is who I am." His words land softly, reminding listeners that art is always personal, always a reflection of the world around it. Then the mood shifts, and Samuel breaks into a story that has the entire room leaning in. He starts talking about a vacation he once took, something that feels straight out of a glamorous movie montage. The invitation came from a close friend, a sports icon whose presence lights up any room he enters. Before he even realized what he'd signed up for, Samuel found himself stepping across the deck of a yacht so beautiful it looked sculpted out of sunlight. He laughs as he describes the scene, ocean stretching to the horizon, the boat's engines humming beneath his feet, and a group of friends relaxing under the open sky. He wasn't surrounded by paparazzi or flashing red carpets, just good company, calm water, and conversations that lasted until the stars came out. The trip had everything. Great food, warm breeze, and friends telling stories that got louder and funnier with every retelling. There's something romantic in the way Samuel paints it. An evening where nobody was acting, nobody was performing for cameras, nobody was thinking about reputations or headlines. They were just people, unwinding, laughing, telling stories that reminded them of how long they had come and how much life there was still to enjoy. He describes one moment where he leaned against the rail, looking at the moon reflected across the water, and realized how rare and beautiful those quiet minutes were. No schedules, no rewrites, no set call in the morning, just peace. The kind of peace that sneaks up on you and makes you grateful for every friend who helped you get there. He returns to the present as if waking from a daydream, and then he reflects on what all those experiences, careers, music legends, creative giants, unforgettable vacations, have taught him. That life isn't just about the biggest movies, the biggest songs, the biggest awards. It's about connection. The people beside you when the stage lights dim, the laughter that keeps you grounded, the stories that live long after cameras stop rolling. He looks directly at the audience, his voice warm and strong as he closes. He encourages viewers to keep chasing experiences that matter, whether they happen on a stage, in a studio, or on a quiet sea under moonlight. To value the people who make them laugh, the people who inspire them, the people who remind them that success is sweetest when shared. The scene fades with Samuel smiling, leaving the audience feeling like they just spent the evening hearing stories from a friend who has seen the world, lived loudly, loved deeply, and still knows how to enjoy the ride.